Alright, this is your homework video on location or latitude and longitude. You will need to have your social studies remarks notebook open on your iPad as well, so that you can pause me while you're watching this and just swipe over to type in whatever you need to type. If it's easier for you to write it down on paper, then copy it into remarks, that is just fine with me. You can also pause it and take screenshots for you to look at later of what you need to put in there. So it's kind of up to you, the best way you want to figure out how to do it. But I will tell you the definitions that you need to write down, and those need to be in your social studies remarks notebook when you come to class tomorrow. Okay? So, location answers the question, where is it? That's one of our 5 themes of geography. There are 2 types of location. We have absolute location, which is just the exact spot where something is. That could be latitude or longitude, or an address. If you told me your street address, I'd be able to find your house. Relative is the position of a place in relation to other places. So you might live down the street from Walmart or across the street from a restaurant, and you could explain to people where you lived using other places. So you would think of, what's near, next to, or across from a place. You don't need to write any of that down. Okay? Our absolute location, it exists because if there is a spot on a ping pong ball and I asked you to explain to your neighbor where that spot is, you wouldn't have any reference points. It's just one spot in this huge white area. So what do you say? And geographers noticed that problem a long time ago with places on the Earth, and so they made this grid of imaginary lines. And the lines are called latitude and longitude. Okay? Now, this is what you need to have written down. You need to know that latitude lays horizontally, and that kind of helps you remember that latitude are the ones that go this way. Latitude, lay, starts with the same as laying horizontally. So when you're laying down, latitude, you can think of them as laying down. Okay? They're measured in degrees. So 0 degrees is your equator. And they're definitely not all the same length. I mentioned that in class. The equator is the one that goes right around the belly, the biggest part of the Earth. Okay? You need to write down latitude and these 3 blue things. Okay? Pause me whatever you need to write down the notes I'm asking you to take. Okay. Second thing about latitude is kind of how to use it to find places on the Earth. So, the equator is where you start. You always start here when you're looking for latitude. Then these degrees tell you how far north or south from the equator to go to your location. So, 30 degrees north, you would start at the equator and go up 30 degrees. That takes you to the line of latitude at 30 degrees north. Okay? Longitude. You need to write down longitude and these 3 blue things, please. Longitude runs north to south, so that's vertically. They're also measured in degrees the same way that latitude is measured. But lines of longitude are different because they're all the same length. Lines of latitude are parallel. They never touch. Lines of longitude all meet at the poles, at the North Pole and the South Pole. They all touch there, okay? Now, your prime meridian is your 0 degrees. On the other side of this awesome drawing. If you could flip it all the way around, so turning 180, 180 degrees would be the exact opposite, and that's what we call the international date line. These two places were kind of chosen by a group of geographers because they could have chosen any one of those lines. They're all the same. But they chose 0 as the starting point and then counted out 180. That's where the international date line is. Okay? Make sure you have those things written down. Oh man. That says meridian, if you can't read it. But longitude, when we use longitude, we start at the prime meridian. And then the degrees tell us how far east or west from the prime meridian we go. And we talked about how we remember which is which. So 60 degrees east, you start at the prime meridian. You always go to your starting line. And then you would count 60 degrees east of the prime meridian. Or you could go here and count 30 degrees west. Please bring your assignment to class tomorrow.